Hi. Assuming Drew will be here in a moment. He said he'd good to go, good to go. Um, no, just got to my computer. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to take anything away from Buffalo because the play calling's been very nice. Some of the running plays with Josh Allen have been very, very sexy. And that OPI just left a gross taste in my mouth. Like, yeah, they gave him a touchdown there. I mean, that's kind of what happened. It's probably would have been a field goal. We'll see if Drew gets mad about this. We'll see how drunk he is. Yeah, he just like shoved the defender down. I guess I'm fine with that being a no call either way. That's kind of what I would have left it at. Like, you don't have to call that offensive pass interference, but I don't think calling it defensive is great. So the turnovers are obviously the big story. Those are massive. But yeah, that OPI was pretty fucking suspect, if you ask me. And, that plus the turnovers puts us where we're at. And the worst part for Ravens fans, backers, people who live in the Charm City, it is Bills starting with the ball in the second half as well. So
disaster. Yeah, this is disaster.
Yeah, it could be 28-10. I mean,
if you're a Ravens backer like me and you were hoping that there was going to be a big rah-rah, season's not over, you got the wrong guy. I feel pretty much like this is over. What do you think?
I'm really bummed. It just kind of it turns into the scenario where the Ravens have to press. And that's just it's not been their forte. I'm thinking back to the season and games that were closer. They're awesome front runners. I mean, you've seen that, especially the last part of the season, even the playoff game, the Steelers game during the regular season, the Houston game where they basically got out to a lead and never relinquished shit. They gave up a safety. That was it. Great front runners. I don't know how I feel about this team in comeback mode, even against a little bit of a sussy defense.
We've had turnovers already. Is there a good example of them doing this? I'm not joking. Like I honestly can't think of the Ravens really being, badass comeback, horses.
No, I mean they tried versus the
fumble was so bad.
The only instance that I can really think of is game 1 of the season. And
yeah, that's a very good point.
Out by a toe. They almost had it. The Raiders game was worse, maybe, because that was a game that they shouldn't have even been in that situation. I think the Cowboys backdoored into that number. They beat the shit out of the Bills. The Bengals game, what are you going to do? That was back and forth. Commanders was a good game. The Bucks game, the weird Browns game too. I want to go look at that box score. That was just like the good Winston week.
And yeah, he threw a pick that Kyle Hamilton dropped that would have ended the game, but that was back and forth the whole time from my memory.
Well, and the other issue is that the Baltimore's defense doesn't look very good right now. So
no, they don't.
In fact, you need to overcome this 11-point deficit and have your defense kind of do. I mean, essentially, I think if you give up 10 points in the second half, you're toast.
Yeah. The story of the game is from Baltimore. It's been miscues, Andy.
0-2 on fourth down too.
Yeah, this has been pain. Max pain.
It's been I'm looking at a different box score. I'm like, when did they have a fourth down attempt? I'm still looking at that Browns one.
Yeah, they haven't gone 4 on 4. Their third down efficiency has been phenomenal. 4 or 5. All right. Pulling myself out of the fucking dirt here, man. Ravens second half. -3 is getting bet to oblivion. And then it finally ticked to 3.5. It's 3.5 now at -108. I'm much more inclined to play 3.5 108 than I was 3 at -134 or whatever the hell they were asking. So, you okay laying Baltimore 3.5, or you
Ravens money line -206?
Yeah. What do you think?
Just lay the juice with it. If you want them to win, what's the current live price?
I can get you 352. You want to play that? Let's do that.
There's some. I just wanted to mention that because our friends, our friends at ProfitX have
smaller stake.
some liquidity at 380. You can get some 350, some 380. So if somebody is really a believer, there's some money to be had there. But no, I'm fine with laying them in the second half. You're getting a little less of a number. You can still cover this with like a garbage touchdown, because this number implies that Buffalo still wins by, what is that, 7?
8.
They're up by 11. So you'd need to lose by 7 or fewer.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, Buffalo can still win
True.
by 7. So you could be down multiple scores late and just see that soft defense with a minute 10 left, and Derrick Henry just pounds one in, and we get this big game. It's not a good defense. That's the issue. Like, the Buffalo defense has been opportunistic.
Do you know how they have contained Henry to this point? Like,
I mean, they're just stacking.
Really, like, he's had the pop.
That's what drove me nuts about that first drive. It's like, okay, they're stacking it. They're bringing extra people up to defend that, and they're doing a good job. And then Lamar, takes the time, makes the right read, finds a guy in the seam. Lamar finds, Bateman in a certain spot. I mean, there's been a couple of times where it's like, well, if they're going to sell out to stop the run, which is probably the right move, make Lamar prove it, you just got to get the most out of your tight ends. You got to get the most out of Bateman. And yeah, I don't know. Like, Henry dropping that ball wasn't great. I mean, that was a really well, I don't know if that's how they drew it up, but it was a really well, executed play for him to end up in that spot when Lamar was kind of, leaking out there. And there's a couple of things, it's similar to probably the Eagles game. There's a couple drops, and Hurts looks a lot better too.
So what do you think? 3.5? It's up to minus 111. That's gotten this has been aggressive one-way betting in this second half market. Whoosh. 3.5 is the bet, as opposed to taking on just Ravens to win it plus 350 something.
I'm doing both.
Dude, it just keeps getting bet. All right. I
gotta click. See, it's actually got to click into the other screen. It's down to 30. So that money line is down to 333. That's been bet. Baltimore just straight up live.
I think that's
taking some money.
That's almost like that more.
You're playing a second half. Yeah, you're playing an alt second half.
Yeah, I kind of like that more than this becomes a 1-score loss. But who knows?
What are you drinking?
Espresso martini. Why?
I don't know.
I have to.
It looked a little pale for that.
I put a healthy Bailey's proportion in there. Yeah.
I've never had one.
All right. So Baltimore minus 3.5. I ended up at 111. So that's what I'll post.
Let's see where it's at. It's still it's at 13 now, but close enough.
It's all good.
I'm sure you can shop around to find it.
Yeah, I need a little pick me up. I'm pretty down. I can't believe this is how this ends for the Ravens after how it ended for the Lions last night. Although that was exciting.
I've never had an espresso martini. I don't. We can get to that later. I don't order like.
Why would you? Yeah.
Anything like that. I just don't. I'm not into that. I guess. Like, if I go to a bar, it is either whiskey, gin, or a beer. I suppose I'll order wine, obviously, if I'm at the right place. But
you ever had a good Irish coffee?
I don't think I've ever ordered a cocktail like that.
You ever had an Irish coffee from the Buena Vista in San Francisco?
I've made an Irish coffee, which is like Bailey's, but I don't even care for those because I don't like sweet coffee in general. Like, even my iced coffees are legitimately just iced coffee, like nitro, nothing else. Yeah, I'm not skinny. You can tell my skinny face and my build. I'm not really into sweets. I don't care for soda all that much either, but yeah, I'll have to try one, I guess. I'll have to get down with it.
Ron Mexico asks, how bad was that PI? It was bad.
It was pretty bad. I was surprised that when they made the call, I'm like, oh, that wasn't. I thought like, oh, that wasn't DPI, was it?
I did have some benches set yesterday, so that was relief. I don't really have a read on any of the Australian Open from this point forward. The men's is so chalky still. Q2 is the only weird one.
You know who I want to bet?
Yeah, who? Tell me.
Joker. Because I don't know that he has it physically or his game, but if he does, his mind space is ready to go there. Because when he gets mad about something petty like this, I feel like he might take it up a notch, and he might be able to reach down and find, like, you know, even like 2022 Joker. There's a deer who's hurt. Like he's probably like 5-1 to win the thing, isn't he?
He opened like in the 4 to 4. Yeah, it was we'll say plus 450 at the start, and his path has not gotten easier for him.
No,
Joker's going to have to beat, in order, he's going to have to beat Alcaraz, Zverev, and Sinner.
Honestly, rollover might be better.
Across those three, I would agree.
Yeah. I did say there was a tweet about that, not to get in the weeds on that, but I don't know, somebody tweeted like the rollover is always better. That's how the pros do it. It kind of bugged me. I was thinking about that. I feel like you really have to think about it. Like in a high volatility spot, it's probably not, because you're worried about, upsets. But in a sport that's more likely to go chalky, like best of 5 tennis, it feels like the odds of two of the three of those getting upset before he meets him isn't great. Zverev is the Lamar of tennis. That's pretty funny. Well done, Nick. That's pretty funny. I'm sorry.
Think everyone on earth wants Lamar to win a title. I don't think anyone on earth wants Zverev to win a title except him. I don't even know if his family wants him to win a slam at this point. But
I thought about it this morning. Like if I could choose who won this game, under the assumption that they would go to the Super Bowl. They beat, like, hey, you pick the winner and they get to go to the Super Bowl. I would have picked the Bills. I think as a franchise, like, I feel worse for them because they had such good teams, never got it done. And I think I love Josh more. But then I thought about, like, who I think wins. And it really did feel like, if the defense stepped up, Baltimore was and deserved to be the better team here. But at the same time, it sucks because it is Sophie's choice. I love Lamar. Like, he's so fun to watch. Like, Lamar in a big spot in the Super Bowl would be fun too. So I felt bad about, like, in that scenario.
Who has the better? Nick is correct again, twice in a row for Mr. Nick Palfrey. Who has got the better chance of beating the Chiefs? That has to be the choice. I kind of agree with that. I'm really fucking over the Chiefs being the story. Like, really. And I know that, like, some of my opinion is shaded by the fact that I was like, I had to watch Mahomes do ridiculous Mahomes shit yesterday to get that number to 9.
Yeah.
And it's just like, no, I'm tired. I've seen this before. This is there's nothing interesting here. This is not an interesting story. The Chiefs trying to get the 3-peat and Mahomes trying to get number 4. I'm really not into that. Not at all. I'd much rather see them overcome some sort of adversity than just fucking cakewalk into another Super Bowl because of another 1 seed and everybody else being unable to meet the challenge. So yeah, at this point, give me Bills, or I don't know, either of these teams I think is very live to beat the Chiefs, and that's where I'm going to be mostly for next weekend. Don't you think?
No, it would be.
Do you disagree?
It would be fun. Yeah, it is a weird arc for, like, Mahomes, and I don't think, like, Mahomes. Obviously, his brother and his wife and a few other things have been less than likable, but, like, in general, Mahomes probably hasn't done anything to not be that likable. Like, besides win and get the calls from the refs. So it's crazy because when he came into the league, coming out of Texas Tech, I don't think we had, like, huge expectations that, hey, this guy probably has a super high ceiling, but that's like a 1% or less kind of thing, because it was kind of sloppy at times with Texas Tech. And maybe, hey, that was kind of an era where the Big 12 defenses were sucking hind tits, and this might work, but also Alex Smith is there. And so, like, when it turned into a thing, it's like, holy shit, this kid is so good. It was super fun, and people like that, and people revel in that. And then it it ascended to a point. It's like there's this peak, and after a certain point, it's like, all right, now you're too good. You're winning too much. We don't like this team doing this every year, and now you're a villain. I don't mind the flopping at all. I love somebody who tries to cheat to win. I respect the shit out of cheaters at the highest level. Honestly, like all the stuff the Patriots did, good for them. They got the titles.
Yeah, the story from Chiefs Bengals AFC Championship game was that there was a physical altercation between Mahomes and Bieniemy at halftime, and that was somehow, some way, what derailed the Chiefs offense in the second half in a game where they were winning, going away. I don't know if it's true.
Yeah, who knows about that?
Cloak and dagger shit.
Do you remember the who was the rumored fist fight between in the Giants front office between coaches? Was that McAdoo? Remember that, where one report, it was like somebody like Jason McIntyre, one of those guys, like reported it.
Yes, that there was a fist fight between the was it McAdoo? It might have been McAdoo.
One of those. I'm gonna have to go look that one up. And everyone is like, no one confirmed that. Like, no, that probably didn't happen.
Did not happen.
It's kind of like the Peanut Tillman FBI thing.
It could have. Tiger Kill could have been involved. That was the weird one where they did not score at like on the doorstep at halftime to put that game away. Like, that game's over.
How old are you, Patrick? It's from like what, 90? Was that when he was with the Eagles?
Yes, surely. Yes.
Buddy Ryan. 4-6, baby.
Yeah.
I will say I did have a complaint from the earlier game when Jalen Hurts was knocked out momentarily.
Yeah.
I went to the Grok and I tried to get it to make me a good rendering of Big Dom in an Eagles uniform to be like, to put Big Dom in, and it just, I did like 17 tries and it never got one right. It just couldn't get the essence of Big Dom right. Most of them just looked like a huge dude. I said, you got to have the tinted glasses are like a big part of this, and they didn't get anything right.
Grok
would have made a good post. And then Jalen came back right away anyway.
Grok, like most AI, turning out to be
kind of a bust.
99% promise, 1% delivery.
Yeah.
Have you heard any of the consumer electronic blowback of AI? No.
Oh, at the conference?
CES, yeah, the CES in Vegas. Happening? Everyone that went was literally like, "Oh, so every company is now just scamming, pretending that they have an AI that does something that it can't, to try to get money to continue to pour into this completely useless resource." Like that was the general takeaway from everyone that I heard that went to CES. It was like, this is now infiltrated like the dishwasher space. It's like, yes, our dishwasher has AI, so that you can talk to it when you are loading your dishwashers.
Loading your dishes. Like, not even consumer electronics, but consumer products in general. Like, is there a bigger buzzword right now?
Yeah, and like the way that they try to make it,
shoehorn it,
the way they make it, everything. They shoehorn it into everything, and the way that they sensationalize it to make it seem like it's a useful thing. It's just a whiff. Like, this is crazy. This feels like such a scam.
When we redid our kitchen, it makes me think of this. We redid our kitchen. I bought a pretty expensive microwave, and I did it because it's also a convection oven, which is awesome. Because if you want to like quickly reheat something, but you've ever reheated like pizza in the microwave and it's horrid. It just turns into like a sponge with sausage on it.
Absolutely, yeah.
So if you got to have the right kind of pan, you got to have a small metal pan that fits in there.
Yeah.
But if you do that and you reheat something like that with convection, it takes slightly longer, but not as long as like heating up the oven and getting that all done.
Yeah, and that's what an air fryer is.
Yeah, it does a really good job, but it's not loud like an air fryer.
Yeah, and it doesn't. It's not another appliance that you have to find a place for.
So, I love my microwave, but my wife was like, she pushed something, and she's like, "Why does her microwave have Wi-Fi?" And I noticed that, and I started to look into it, and I'm like, I don't know what the usefulness of that.
It's like, so it can get updates.
In what world are you like, oh man, I need to start my microwave from like the office?
Birdo, I laid this. I think the Kings
Who are they
win by
playing?
50. The Wizards. The Zards are in a I don't have an AI sommelier. Were we talking about AI sommelier?
No,
must
but
have
you
been. We
could
said we
ask like
were.
Gemini or something.
Had a whole freaking conversation with someone, but I thought it was in person. It wasn't on our podcast about whether you could develop an AI sommelier where basically like you just told you took pictures of the wines, you told it what you liked and didn't like about it, and it was like, yeah, here's $20, here's this price point bottle. If you at this grocery store, it's there now. Like, go get it. You'll, this kind of fits all your parameters.
So I
That
think
seems like a useful
so.
use
I
for it, as
think
opposed to everything that's promised, which is like you want to use a large language model for something, use it for that.
so. Well, not even large language, but places like
Generative, yeah.
places like Total Wine, they have those. You have those. Hey, do you have our store rewards thing or whatever? And you scan that, and then they use that data and be like, hey, this person bought this, but they also bought this, and over the last 5 years they bought this, this, and this. So if you like this, you might like that.
Yeah.
And they bought it 3 more times, so you might really like that. And you have that over 500 stores across the country. If you could have that data,
Yeah.
like for sure you could give some people
You
some
could
good
crush.
They're already
Yeah.
doing that stuff with everything.
Yeah. That to me, that's like the next, that's just like a soft iteration of what Google is already doing with your data.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, I think the AI has kind of hit a wall or a ceiling, at least in terms of its usefulness, and everything that was unveiled at CES was like, we basically put a ChatGPT client in this product, and it'll wow people enough that they'll buy it, even though they don't need to buy it.
Yeah. Do
but,
you use it? Do you use AI for anything in your work
No.
or when you're doing
Nothing.
stuff? So
Nothing.
it is sometimes it is better than Google if you're having trouble with, let's say you're doing some coding.
Sure. I had a
It is great about
super.
that sort of thing, or
I've
even
had-
like a question about Excel.
Yeah,
Like,
good.
hey, how
Yeah,
can I
good.
make Excel
Sure.
do this? It's better than Google for technical stuff like that. There's no opinion on that. This is
Yeah.
how Excel works, and
Sure.
it'll give you a very good explanation compared to with Google. You're gonna have to roll the dice and click into some articles and hope you got a good explainer one. It's been good about that, and I will say real quick,
Yeah.
it isn't bad for, hey, here's the name of an article. This is what the title of this article is. Write me a detailed outline of it. And if you're writing something and you have a really detailed outline already for it, it's a really good way to start. Then obviously you cross out the sections you don't think you really need, and
Yeah.
it's a really good like, hey,
Yeah.
because I think a big thing for people at work when they start a project from scratch like that, even if it is just like a 600-word article or something.
Yeah.
The
Give me the step. Yeah. Get me out out of the gate here. Yeah.
The hardest part is getting started. And it's massive for that. So it has its uses, but yeah, I've hit a lot of roadblocks. Like, oh, it says it can do this and it fucking can't.
Well, the thing I've taken it on as a try to like help code a little bit, or help make my code that I was using a little bit more efficient. And like what it spit out did have some utility, but it had to basically be rewritten. Right.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's really saved me time in the end.
I don't think it's going to be good. Maybe not yet for like, hey, write me all this code. I think it helps for like, how do I make R do this?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah.
It'll help
Yeah.
you with some of the.
That's another good. Yeah. If you have experience with Excel and MATLAB and you never use R or Python, and that's what you're trying to use, I'm certainly Python. I feel like if that's your platform that you're trying to get good at, I feel like so much is written in that now that you should be able to flex there. What?
Have you seen Damar Hamlin's Guardian cap?
No, I haven't. I saw it
looks bigger than other Guardian caps. They're showing it now. It looks
special needs Guardian cap.
It looks like he has like 2 or 3 of them on.
How do you get a delay game here, guys? What the hell? What the hell? Jesus.
Yeah, I don't love that pitch play either. It's funny. The funny thing too about like,
didn't understand that.
How many? And I probably can only name 2 or 3 off the top of my head, but for you guys who love fantasy and sci-fi writing and movies and shows, how many have that premise as like, oh, we made AI and now we're fucked? Like it's definitely a core tenant in like some of the prequel stuff in Dune. It's a big part of the Matrix trilogy. I mean, it exists in so many different movie tropes where it's like a horror show. So I guess I'm super glad I'll be dead in 40 years because like it feels like we're about to cross the Rubicon on some of this shit.
What if
'Cause they're
AI
like,
decides
"Oh,
you can't die? What
yeah,
are you
they're
gonna do
gonna."
then?
It really feels like there's gonna be a lot of pressure from shareholders and boards, and like, hey, we have to make it do this, and they like, well, we shouldn't, but we're going to.
No,
And then it's
I
like,
honestly,
yeah,
so
Terminator,
so much of tech and what is being promised right now feels like such a
Skynet.
fucking scam. Did I tell you my story about the new iPhone? I've had
You had a new
bunch
iPhone?
of, yeah, and
You
it's
know what I had, the 14?
iPhone 16.
Okay.
You know why I got it? Because my old one had a tiny chip in the screen that kind of annoyed me. And because my credit card company and my phone company and everyone was literally like, it's been 3 years, we'll just give you one for free.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. I was like, so they are really, 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 really trying to get iPhone 16s off of shelves. So
There's
they're just gonna
virtually
give it
no
to you for
difference
free.
from like the 13.
So I had a 13, I have a 16, and you know what my thing about the 16? It is a 13. Like they're like I had a 13 Pro Max, so it was the bigger screen and it was the better camera. I have a 16 Pro Max and it's a 13 Pro
Well,
Max.
did you see the latest commercial, Drew?
It is so it is infinitesimally faster. Battery doesn't really last any longer. I honestly, it has another button that I don't use.
Have you seen the commercial?
No.
There's like a commercial for you can like use. It's funny how it all ties together. You can use AI to create your own emojis. Be like, I want a rabbit, but I want him wearing an army helmet, or you say like combine things. So
super useful.
yeah, so it's like, well, that's as soon as I thought that, I'm like, that's a fun idea, and I think people will enjoy that. But
use it once.
that is not a feature or benefit that someone is making $1,000 purchase based on. Like, you guys have run out of fucking ideas. Like, we've taken it from like, all right, this thing can make calls, but only in certain parts, and you got to be on a hill, and the battery doesn't last at all, and it's in a giant bag in your car. To this thing is a computer that can do anything you can do on a computer, and that's
yeah. Well, then it became like, well, then we're going to make it a camera that means you don't need any other camera.
Yeah, well, and that's nice too. But I'm saying like now its usefulness is like it's very useful. I couldn't imagine living without a phone.
No,
but
like,
a
new one is literally just that like the screen isn't cracked or scratched.
What
the
else
battery
can you add?
Maybe lasts a little longer. The processor is a little faster.
Yeah.
Like it's absolutely crazy. What like they were literally like I had 4 options in my life of free iPhone. I was like, I guess I'll take this one. Like I'll go this path. I don't know.
My poor daughter got an Android because that's what they were giving away.
Yeah,
They're fine. It's a fine phone. You know what I would pay for? I would pay premium. I would pay double price what an iPhone costs for one that had a battery that lasted a week.
Yeah.
With my like 8 hours of screen time a day.
Of course, yeah. At full brightness and at max connectivity. Just give me one that will last like a couple of days. The other thing is
remember how long a Nokia lasted?
Yeah, dude? The other wearable stuff that
they've
tested. Tyler brings it up. Wouldn't another real step be they mount them inside our heads, behind our eyes? Yeah, I mean they're desperately trying to make wearable tech happen, and it's just not happening. Like there's
some cool glasses. I think
Apple basically put the Vision Pro in the fucking trash. Like it was such a useless product it was so far away from the finish line when they released it that they eventually decided it wasn't worth continuing to develop. Apparently, I can't believe this, but Yeah, it's the tech space right now is spooky. How much it feels like it's all a scam and that there's nothing really innovating anymore.
Did you TikTok? Did you do anything with that?
I have no
I
idea
honestly,
what you're talking about.
I kind of had to look it up last week because I vaguely understood why, but I'm like, sometimes I have to do this because it's like I know my wife is going to ask me this,
Mm-hmm.
and I basically understand it, but I don't know if I understand it well enough to explain it to somebody else. So I had to like look up. I'm like, why are they banning it again? Is it just because it's Chinese ownership and they're and they're stealing all our stuff? And there's some scary stuff out there. I mean, one person, and I didn't vet this, so maybe I shouldn't even repeat it, but somebody said, "Hey, here's the code. When you click on a TikTok to an outside site, it basically can and maybe is recording all your keystrokes, which could include passwords if you're entering them on that site." It's like, oh no, like that's really terrible. I have TikTok on my phone. I open it once a month when somebody says, like,
I think
hey,
I was in a store and there was a TV with the news on and it was like TikTok ban lifted. And I was like, great. Well, when was the ban an issue? When was it
like
levied?
12 hours, man.
It was 12 hours ago.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, TikTok is dead. I didn't even know it was sick. That's kind of where I'm at. I have zero interest in oh god damn.
I guess
the matriculation is just killing me here.
I don't understand the
difference. Do you think
difference.
this total is going to get home? 51.5? Do you think it gets there?
Which way?
To the over? Are we going to get 52 points here?
I mean, Baltimore's going to have to stop kicking field goals eventually, yeah. But they also might just score zeros. Here's the one thing I have about TikTok. Like,
I don't think it's going to
everybody else has covered this. Everyone else is doing it. If you go on YouTube Shorts, that's just TikTok. If you're on Instagram Reels, that's just TikTok. Twitter, now when you click a video, it auto plays another video if you click it to make it full screen. That's just TikTok. Most of these creators are posting in multiple places anyway, but they're complaining because their biggest audiences are on TikTok. Like those people, everyone's like, oh no, they're gonna have to go get real jobs. Fuck them. Like, I was like, you think they're just gonna stop that? They're just gonna post on the other sites, and they're gonna have to, they're gonna have to work a little harder to build.
Work a little harder, yeah.
But people that really enjoyed their content are gonna go find them on Instagram or YouTube Shorts.
Surely.
So I guess I didn't understand, like, what's the difference? Half those videos you see on Twitter, it's like, oh, this was a TikTok to start. Yeah. And Christopher has a comment here. He says the algorithm is incredible though compared to the other site. That one's different.
You know why it's so good is because it's spying on you more than the other ones.
It's stealing your info when you're on all the other ones.
Yeah, it's doing an especially good job of profiling you. That's how it's such a good algorithm. Which is what the kind of key of all of the AI stuff is. It's just algorithms. It's just profiling. It's all relative, man-made. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know if Pokemon Go was stealing from us. Fucking
Pokemon Go.
Professor Oak was using our info or what?
Huge tackle by Kyle Van Noy there.
Yeah. good pickup by them. Good signing.
Kyle Van Noy he's been extremely not watched for the Ravens. I think
he's had a couple ones.
Lena Svitolina, you remember when we were talking about Gem's life?
Yeah.
Did you see that they both ousted the number 4 seeds on the same night?
Oh yeah.
Monfils took out number 4 Fritz and Alina took out number 4 Paulini on the same night.
Yeah, somebody tweeted
pretty
that.
cool.
Like, both 4 seeds lost
pretty fucking cool. To the same household. That's really fucking cool. Well, I saw somebody, or I saw a comment about it, and I was like, oh, are they playing mixed doubles and they took out the number 4 seed in mixed doubles? And I was like, oh no, they each beat the number 4 seeds respectively in singles. That's cool as shit. That's way cool. Is that a touchback? No, it's not. Yes, it is.
My kid loves the Pokemon games. Scarlet. He made me get Scarlet and Violet now, which they're the same game, by the way, guys. That's a scam. mean, they're not. They have different Pokemon or whatever, but it's the same
Yeah. Let's
world.
give the people what they want. Give me your early
Jalen
call.
Hurts. Jalen Hurts, though. Did you have an opinion on that? He was pretty coy.
He was
in the
awful.
postgame.
He looked. Yeah, I don't
know, but
understand.
do you think he's
Not good enough to be a 4.5 point favorite? Oh, 4.5 is exactly where my number was on this game. I was literally like, I'm gonna play Commanders if it's 6. I'm gonna play Eagles if it's 3.5. At 4.5, I kind of don't have a side. Where are you?
He's playing. It's a good number, but
he's playing. But who knows if he'll be?
So he's got the knee, the hand, and maybe the concussion. Yeah, the safety was horrible. He just stood there like deer. He looked Darnold-esque. Yeah. And it's funny. The two safeties essentially decided the spread this week.
You know what decided the spread in the Eagles game? It was that fucking cocksucker, Elliott, missing extra points.
2, yeah.
2. Deep breath. I had a tiny amount of 5.5, which is the only reason that I'm not screaming about that game. I like you. Did you have 6.5 for real, or was that just in the newsletter?
I mean, I didn't have.
You didn't have 6. A choice. Did you have 6?
That in there this morning. Yeah.
Did you have some 6? So you had push.
But yeah, there wasn't a 6 to be had this morning, so I just said 6.5, and I said, "Well, what are the odds I get hooked?"
I mean, what are the odds that Jake Elliott misses 2 extra points and that Jalen Hurts takes an absolutely just egregious safety?
I still thought it should have been like 7.5 once I did my final calcs on that.
This is the general vibe of this.
Yeah, I'm happy to anybody who listened early in the week and maybe got a 5.5. Yeah. Good job, guys. Go. I like the Eagles. I love the roster building they did. As much as I don't care for Sirianni and honestly,
Birdo, good job. Stuff. The 5.5s were available on Monday and Tuesday, and those of us who were early to the party got some win, but I was about 50-50 Phil on 5.5 and 6. So I was annoyed. I
respect the roster building. I guess that's why I like the Eagles. I don't like Sirianni. I don't like some things about them, but I really respected how they built the roster to become a good team. So I'd like to cheer for them sometimes, but it's hard to fucking not love the Commanders right now. What a fun team. Because essentially that defense is held together by duct tape and chewing gum, man.
Can I ask your opinion of Commanders and the way the market has treated them all year? Somebody brought it up. Did you see it was Achilles? Did you see the late steam on Commanders free kick? I did. And you know why I didn't really react to it is because that has happened so many times this year. This is the 14th game where the Commanders have just been absolutely pounded on day of. So somebody who understands college football probably very well was literally like, you don't get it, how good Jaden Daniels is. No one understands, and he will consistently be underrated until he ultimately loses, if he ever loses this season.
And I think there is something to be said for people are looking at their pricing and people are saying, we're underrating the fact that they have a good player at the most important position. And there's probably a portion of the market who's like, I have to bet against a rookie in the playoffs.
Yeah, everybody said Daniels is the best quarterback in the NFC pre-playoffs is feeling pretty freaking correct right now.
It wasn't just his legs.
He's certainly better than Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't just his legs and some of the schemed open little shit. He was hitting deep guys. He did everything that was asked of him yesterday.
Just a quick note. Crazy. I finally made a mistake on Jalen Hurts calling him Jaden, so the tide has turned. I consistently would make the mistake of calling Jaden Daniels Jalen Daniels. Now I'm calling him Jalen Hurts Jaden Hurts.
How do we forget that this happens every game? How do we forget this happens every game? That suddenly, like, Derrick Henry is less tackleable because it's 40 minutes into the game and it's cold.
He's tough to tackle because he's very, very big. And very, very fast.
If you made me bet right now, I'd take the points because I think Hurts is legitimately injured. That knee.
Yeah, he's going to play hurt, though.
He's going to play.
He'll play through it. Devontae Smith, 100%.
I think he's fine.
Okay. AJ Brown.
I was so
why
scared
it was
of like the
yeah.
Washington defense getting beat. That's why I played the team total rather than
Well,
just
taking
playing
points
them
or
against the spread
money line, yeah.
or money line. I'm like, man, I bet they can score like 26 and just lose this game.
It's December. It's January, man. Come on. It's Tractor Cedo January. It doesn't have as much of a. It doesn't roll off the tongue
No.
as. It doesn't roll off the tongue as eloquently.
You know what I love today?
What's that?
I got to watch both games on a big TV instead of a tablet. Volleyball got over early. Got home, sat down, watched the Eagles game. I still am having. I want to hear if anyone else is having.
Well,
this issue
you tell me
with Paramount
strategically,
Plus.
Andy. If this
Hold up,
first and goal is
quick, wait a minute.
converted, is
I
this
wanna
first
know
and goal
this
is converted? Are we going for 2 or not?
I don't think it's too early. I'd go for
It's
2.
not too early. You go for 2 now.
It's never
right?
too early. If past halftime, it's not too early.
You do it now,
So,
right? Yeah.
I have like all these apps on my Roku.
Yeah.
And I've
Of course.
so this is a CBS game.
Yeah.
And I
You
try
don't
to
have
pull it up
Paramount
on-
Plus?
I have Paramount Plus. I love Paramount Plus. You guys, it is a mountain of entertainment. So I log into my.
You
I don't
guys.
log in. I just click on that app.
Derrick
on the TV.
Henry is in. Do you just give it back to Derrick Henry for the 2-point conversion?
I
Yes,
think
right?
you do. He's running so well.
He's.
But anyway, I click on the game and it just says there's an error. We can't play this. And I don't know. Is it some blackout thing? Because here's the other thing. You can watch games that are on Paramount Plus through the NFL Plus app, which is also on my Roku. So I go to there and it's like, oh, you can only watch this if you log into your Paramount Plus through us. So I do that. I take the picture of the QR code and I give them the code. It's like, all right, now you're logged into Paramount Plus through NFL Plus. Here's the game. And it plays, but I can't watch it on Paramount Plus for some reason. Every time it drives me. I don't know if anyone else is having this or if I've lost my mind. But
I just go to live TV usually on my Paramount Plus app and it goes.
I haven't tried that. Maybe I should do
live
that.
TV. Yeah, that's what you need. Yeah, go to live TV.
I should have just called you. I mean, I still got the game on, but it was annoying.
Okay. What did they not convert? They failed. Fuck, incomplete. Damn.
Fails.
Oh, damn it, Andy.
We're still up 9-0 second half, and I think the defense is starting to pick up.
Don't say that.
I ain't scared.
Kiss of death.
Oh,
all right, man. Let's wrap this. I want to focus on the rest of this game. I need to dial in. Thank you for your attention, guys. I think hopefully we found you a winner for the second half.
Pivoting to soup season.
What'd you say?
I got focus. It's soup season.
What are you making?
I think loaded baked potato. That sounds so good right now. It's like 14.
So let me ask you: do you make potato cheese soup and then just an absolute bevy of accoutrement?
So it's essentially a cream based like chicken stock plus half and half or heavy cream with some cheese in it, and then the potatoes, crispy. You cook up crispy bacon and break it up. You do some chives.
Yep.
Probably do some more cheese. Obviously, lots of cracked pepper. You add some sour cream to that bee. You probably cook some butter up when you're doing the taters.
Obviously. Well, enjoy, man. Stay warm.
Right, see you guys.
We'll do a normal Wednesday stream, I think, for everybody curious. I don't think there's an extra one, right? No reason to.
No, we'll just do a normal Wednesday stream. It's like a team who plays to their opponents. No matter how few games there are, we still somehow do an hour and a half. Yeah. I don't think we can do an hour and a half on 2 games, but we'll see.
A Bills 10-minute drive ending in a touchdown is going to break my spirit, but anything else, and we are fucking live, and this game is going to end in fun fashion. Overtime, yes, feels a little unlikely right now. Unfortunately, we need a safety. Damn it. All right. Or a missed extra point, which we've seen lots of. We just need Buffalo to score a touchdown, miss an extra point, and then a touchdown, 2-point conversion, and we're back. All right, man. See you.